Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of our small podcast, where today I'm here with Geartner, who is one of our German Cave 1 instructors, who is actively teaching here in this nice background of Sardinia. And what I would like to discuss today with him is a challenge that some instructors see, and as well students have, is, am I really prepared if I have my technical pass on fundamentals to go to a level 1 training? Is it a Cave 1 or is it a Tech 1? Because I'm a Tech 1 instructor, maybe not that actively teaching. You're a Cave 1 instructor, so we get the students who are willing to step up and then make the next kind of level of their education. But the question is how they should prepare, or are they ready, really, when they get the Tech pass? So what did you see recently on your classes that you run here with the students like that?
Of course, this is a spectrum and not
Yeah.
an answer fitting for all. And it goes from perfectly prepared, and I'm really happy, to not so perfectly prepared, which means we will have more work during the Cave 1. And we maybe have to concentrate more on basic skills than on cave diving skills, which might even lead to at the end that we cannot finish the program and we come to a provisional certification. Well, this is a broad spectrum. Nobody's perfect, and this is perfect. Will never be. This is perfectly understood. But if I see it from a broader perspective, if I see students not so well prepared, in my opinion, what do they? It's maybe two things that they shared. Maybe number one is they are quite new, that they're exposed to GUE diving, so they don't do it for a longer time or are not surrounded by divers who do the GUE diving style. This is one thing. And the other thing is that either the fundamentals is just recently and they just made it, or it's a long time ago and they already forgot things. So the basic challenge is if students don't bring the real fundamental skills, proper kicks, stability, maybe procedures we can fix quite easily, basically, and you forget them, that's okay. But if you don't bring stability and the kicks, the most critical is the backwards kick. We can work on the rest. If this is not working, it will be hard to be stable in the water already. So this is from this perspective, the most that I see. And sometimes I'm surprised that I have the impression that students hear some parts of the theory, like minimum decompression limits or other stuff, or PO2 limits, for the first time. I mean, we can compensate for some stuff, but we cannot repeat a fundamentals class. So this is what I see. And for me, the question is a little bit, where does that come from? Which means, how can we help? How can we give advice that people are better prepared for that?
So one thing that you said is that either people are freshly after fundamentals class, so the knowledge and the skills is not sedimented yet. But here, I mean, we did the change, or we did have in the past that we always require 25 times after the class. Now it's not the case. So now we say that if somebody achieves a tech fundamentals, so technical fundamentals with the new naming, is that they should be ready to go. So obviously it seems that even if somebody is at peak performance at the finish of the fundamentals class and they achieve that rating, they would need to do something more, especially if there is a time in between the tech rating and their peak performance before they go to the next level.
And I mean, I teach fundamentals as well, and I have sometimes the challenge that I ask myself, what would be today the correct, the fair, the best rating for the students? And I mean, let's say the student peaks performance the last day and he does everything, maybe not to the most beautiful execution, but everything what is required, the student does. So he's well within buoyancy limits, trim is good, kicks are working, not perfect, but working this very day. I mean, I cannot fail him. It would be not fair because he achieved what we have in the standards. I cannot probe if it's sedimented knowledge that it's now automated. And I cannot tell him, today you were good, but I'm not quite sure, let's meet again in 4 weeks. this is not a fair.
So how should we solve that? Because we would need to give advice to students who get the technical rating and they achieved a certain level of performance as it is defined in the standards, which setting the minimum requirement. We always need to remember that. And theoretically, they could go to level 1 class immediately, but
Next day.
I always advise you need to take the time to make the knowledge and the skills be automated. So what they need to do something that we would call a deliberate practice, that they actually focus on practicing certain things in a specific way, because if they just go off and dive and they do not pay attention, the skills will decline.
This is very natural, and this is how it is. Like you train something, you're on the peak performance that day, but I don't know.
And then I did it, but
yeah, and if you don't go on with that training mentality with your own dives, I mean, please not every dive training dive, no.
Yes.
But at least you should use it to, I don't know, execute the best frog kicks, like 10 times 10 kicks during your 1 hour. So you're practicing, or at the end have someone recording your S-drill, your buoyancy, your trim, whatever. Every time a little bit helps, but that includes that you're exposed to divers that know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So
diving in a GUE team or a people that are trained.
Trained, yes, absolutely.
It don't need to be an instructor. It can be a teammate, because what we would achieve if we would have that trend or this habit that divers are diving together and they give themselves constructive feedback after the dive. This is what I have seen. You know, I don't know if you're aware, but you are still doing this. Both of the sides, they give advice and they receive advice. And very often the person who is giving the advice will reflect on himself. Am I really, whatever advice I'm giving, am I doing it really? So it's a little bit like a smoker giving advice to quit smoking. I mean, it will be more natural for the smokers saying, like, if I'm telling the smoking is not so good, maybe I should quit. Yeah. So the advice giving and receiving is diving in a team and, being deliberately focusing on becoming better.
But back to your question, what can we advise them really practical? And of course, we always tell them, this is just your driver license. Now you have, of course, we always tell that because we know how it is. So my dream would be that we can ignite that learning. You're self-responsible for you're responsible for yourself. You're self-responsible. You have to take it. I can only offer advice. I can show tools. I can explain how and what. But you have to take the learning in your own hands.
So take responsibility for
learning. And you don't just do it to make me happy, for me to give you the certification, but it's for you to learn something. And this is something, not every person is the same. And my words with some people resonate well, with others not so much. This is how it is, right? But this is something that I would like to ignite in divers.
So they are self-motivated.
Self-motivated for learning. And I always tell them, it's always your decision. If you don't want to learn, we can even reduce the stuff I will teach in the class. If you think less is better for you, that you have a deeper learning experience, we can do that. It's no problem, because it's the class is one step in the learning process. And by having yourself the control of what you learn, you can pace yourself. So of course, if you decide we don't do everything in the class, of course this will be not a pass, but maybe it's the right speed for you to learn, because you're taking the responsibility for your learning in your hand. We have a program, we have a set time scale, we cannot do it differently, but not necessarily this fits for every person. And I really like it when students tell me, look, I see this is a little bit too much for me. Doesn't matter if I reach it now, but let's learn the other stuff deeply. And then there are others, they tell me, I know I will not reach it, but I'm so curious, I would like to see everything. And both for me is fine, because the students took their learning in their own hands. And this is something I would like to ignite, because after the class, students will need that. They are at their peak performance. They can perform just as we want, but it has to get automated. And this is not something I can teach.
No, I mean, we cannot teach experience.
But this is something, igniting this would help this. And this next step leads to your question. what do we need for level 1 classes? The things you learn in fundamentals, they should get automated.
Yes.
And I don't expect things to be perfect. We will never be perfect. It should be to a certain level. But if you stop practicing after the class, you don't automate what you learned, or you have like a 3-month break after your class,
and you don't dive.
Sorry, that stuff dissolves.
It will decline. And then what you say is really true in a sense that whatever we teach during fundamentals class is, I always call it, we do not induce artificial stress. We do not do scenarios. We do not create problems for students. They create problems and stress on their own. We don't need to do anything extra. They're already, either it's a performance anxiety or it's many new things to learn. Maybe it's a new team that they need to find, you know, how to deal with, a new instructor, and it's new expectations. And very often it's way harder than what people expect. But so when they go, so for me, very often when I was advising people on how to prepare, is that the basic skill, they need to be, like you said, automated. Because if you come to a level 1 class, is a Tech 1 or Cave 1, you will be challenged with additional stress, which we will induce by creating scenarios or putting them out of the comfort zone, because we will make skills not, you know, 1 meter off the bottom, but maybe in the blue on a line, or maybe in a cave, you know, with the line.
Close to the bottom, maybe.
Close to the bottom on the line, yes. So they will have this additional stress. And if this crumbles, the class is not as efficient as could be, because we are not there. Like you said, okay, we can refine some skills, yes, but it's skill refinement to that particular environment that they will dive. Is it a cave or is it an open water tech dive? So this is okay, but we cannot reteach fundamentals. We cannot teach them how to do a backward kick. And for instance, in a cave, you do not put extra equipment on people, like stages, like we do in Tech 1. And I always say, look, if your backward kick now is weakish and you barely do it, imagine that you add extra equipment. Then it won't be working, and it should be working. Yes? So they should be taking this, let's say, a certain bar that they achieved, and they will, on the level 1, they bring it higher. Different environments, different skills will be more emphasized, but it's still bringing them a little bit higher, so the bar raises. And then with any other class, it's kind of the same story, yes? That you're adding on the solid basis, but the basis really needs to be solid, because otherwise it's kind of, people will learn, but the learning experience will not be as efficient or pleasant as they would like to have.
So you don't get the same experience out of the class because you're spending time in front of the cave training kicks instead of being in the cave. And this automation, what do you need to come to this level of automation? After the class, fundamentals, in this example, you should continue regularly diving and just applying whatever you learned. And try to put this into your diving. You can do an ascent, you can do the...
You should do an ascent after every dive.
That's a good idea, but I mean a vertical ascent. You can implement all that stuff, all kicks at the end. Why not train? Let's agree with your buddies, after every dive you do one S drill, one valve drill, once SMB, whatever it is.
And then additionally to that, they should do it with different teams, because sometimes they're not doing a cave or tech class with people they know. They will have somebody else. And they should do it in different environments, not always in the same lake, on the same line, with the same platform, with the same teams, with the same setting, because it's not progress. Then you will kind of reach this, you know, automation, but in that comfort zone that you kind of, you know, I don't do things differently in a different environment because it's harder, but that's the point. So you need to push yourself a little bit out of the comfort zone, because this is how you will learn.
So basically using what you learned to the best performance in every dive. So try to improve your frog kicks during every, you just can do it while diving, right? That was an example. Other kicks as well, and so on.
So, and as well, what we need to remember is that within GUE, we teach what we do, in a sense that we teach them backward kick because we use backward kick. We teach them, you know, how to put a reel in a cave because we really need to put a reel in a cave. So it's not that we ask them to do like stuff that are not practical. All of the things that we teach them in fundamentals have a practical reason. They have a reason why they are training that, because then they will apply those skills in the next level, not only classes, but diving, because that's the point. The point is not the class, the point is the dives after what they do, where they feel confident, they can implement the tools, and they can start to critically think in situations that we did not teach them, because it's impossible. We cannot teach everything.
And you, the student, you will only understand why we teach, how we teach. I mean, there are always good reasons, but what is like the real core for it if you come to the level 1 class? Be it Tech 1 or Cave 1, I can talk more about Cave 1. But so one thing I tell my students, I want you to be in a box of 10 centimeters when you're doing the valve management, beginning with the valve draw. So back and forth, left and right, up and down 10 centimeters. Try to stay in that box. To be honest, I'm diving in the lake, I'm 2 meters from the ground. It's nice, but would it really matter? Probably not. Probably not. But you come to the level 1 class and all of a sudden you realize that was not a game. That was not just something to torture me or
to have
challenge me. No, you really need it. And you got to prepare for this real, you need to be prepared for this real application.
So you need to start to think critically as well. It's like, I have these tools, how can I use them? And why do I have them? You know, how, in which circumstance I can use backward kick, and why it is better now to flutter kick, and how I can donate in the most efficient way without jeopardizing the environment or, you know, safety, the integrity of the team, and so on. So it's not only the skill per se, but it's as well the practical application in real diving, not on a class. Because the class is always something that we induce, but it's the experience that the divers should have after the classes using those skills. And then they will learn more, because then they will start to adjust, adapt, because depending on the environment they are in or team that they dive with, they will need to start to critically think about, okay, I have this, what do I do now? Nobody taught me that before, but...
And one point is applying what you learned, automating it, and the other part of the story is what you mentioned just at the beginning, go to different environments. I see students that never dove in the sea. I understand. Okay, I'm coming from Germany. Within 1.5, I only have lakes. Perfect. But go somewhere, dive in the sea, because it's a completely new environment. And it's not only that you learn the new environment, but by learning the new environment, you open up yourself for new experiences. And you're not so surprised that not everything is like my home lake, where I know every fish by name and I know how it is. No, it's different.
And then sometimes if I communicate with other team members, they don't understand what I mean.
And you are prepared to surprise us, which means the stress level is just lower. It's another...
And in gas consumption, it allows your awareness is bigger, and you start to notice more things, and the dives start to be more enjoyable, because even if something happens, you can step back, look around, and say, okay, I understand what's going on, or I think I understand what's going on, let's try to fix it having this and these tools. So what we discussed is, what we see is that people are coming with tech ratings, because otherwise they couldn't do a Cave 1 or a Tech 1, but they still lack the solid foundational skills. So they are not automated enough to be thrown into a new environment with a new skill set that we throw at them. And sometimes they are just, it's too overwhelming. And of course, it always be a little bit of an overwhelm, because it's a new thing that you learn, but you should have the basic, really, you need to be confident in your basic. And you need to challenge yourself by training in different environments with different people and training, so maintaining the currency of your training. Thus, we have the 25 dives that we require between classes. And even if you have a tech rating, it doesn't mean that once given, always given, in a sense that if it got into my head, it will stay there. You need to practice that.
No, but it's with everything you learn. Is it a new language? Is it other, I don't know, whatever skill you learn, cooking or... I don't know, DIY projects with wood at home, I don't know.
But you need to...
If you don't do them for a while, you get out of...
They decline. And then you need to warm up. So another thing that would be, don't just jump into a cave class. Oh, you know, my last dive was 6 months ago. Just do a few warm-up dives, check where you are. Am I really actually ready for that? Because it's investment of time and investment of money, you know. You need to take holidays. So it's not something that you should take lightly, because it's like... if it doesn't work, and I could prepare better, it would be my, it would be my fault, me as a student, that I do not perform the way I would like to perform.
And it's a nicer experience. You take less frustration. So
You have happier instructors.
Your instructor is happy, not so unimportant.
Yes. All right. So anything else that we would like to add here for now?
This sums it up quite well.
Go and dive, guys.
Automate by diving, expose yourself to new environments.
And deliberately practice, which means pay attention what you're doing. It's not like, I go and dive. It's just like, you need to decide this, I'm trying to improve my skills. Yes.
And you will see how your skills improve. And I find this, when I see the result after 2-3 dives, now I can do this and that better. This I feel really rewarding and satisfying in itself. So I like not the training so much always, but I like the results. Yes. Yeah.
So prepared students or divers with experience and the proper mindset of, okay, I really need to keep up with my skills, makes instructor happy, students happy, divers more fun.
Yes.
And then more adventures ahead. So keep on practicing deliberately. Don't assume that whatever came to your head stays there, because most of the time it goes away because we put different things in it. So I hope this was useful. And as usual, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. And then wait for another episode that we will discuss other important topics.
Let's do like that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.